could not go back. So I'm staying back for this meeting, and tomorrow I'm going to Cochin. So a lot of meetings are there. Now I don't know actually how to attend all those meetings. On Monday there are at least 2 meetings are there. So somehow we have to manage the show.
Very good morning, Saravanan.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
I am Dr. Professor Govindasamy.
Yeah, you are on the extreme left, is it? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay. So nice meeting you, sir. Actually, after a long
Thank
time.
you. Very, very
If I,
long time, that.
if I remember, I met you at Madras University sometime.
Yes.
Afterwards, I have not
Absolutely
met
correct.
you.
Absolutely correct.
How are you, sir? Actually, how
I'm
is things
fine.
going on? Uh,
It's
so you are
retirement.
now with
Now is
Aragappa?
in Alagappa is the advisor as adjunct faculty of the Fisheries Science.
Very nice, sir. Very nice, actually. It's really, I should thank only, Dr. Kannabaran and as well as Ajit,
Yes.
because they were the people who was behind this and actually created an opportunity for me to interact with
Right.
our old friends.
Pleasure.
So,
Welcome.
very nice, very nice.
Good morning,
It's a very good
Vasigaran.
opportunity.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Sir, good morning, sir. Vasigaran, sir.
Good morning, sir. Ajit, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Saravane, sir, good morning.
ஏன்டா டைப் பண்ற சொல்லு மீட்னு போட்டு மீட் ஜெர்சி போடணும் ஜெர்சி போட்டு தான் போடணும் மீட் டாட் ஜேஐடி டாட் எஸ்ஐ ஸ்லாஷ் ஏஎல்யூ கரெக்டாக சொல்லணும் ஏ கேபிட்டல் அதை சொல்லு ஏஎல்யூ
Hello.
Very good morning, Subina, madam. Hello. Subina Begum, madam.
I think her mic is off.
I see. Good morning.
Yeah. So very good morning, sir. This is Prabhu. Vasigaran, sir.
Good morning.
Ajit.
Vasigaran, sir.
Yeah.
First, welcome address முடிஞ்சனே வைஸ் சான்சலர் வந்து பேசுறாங்க.
சரி.
Then you can.
Okay, okay, okay.
இப்போ
செமினார் 2 லைன் சொல்லிட்டு அப்புறம் let me welcome அவ்வளோ வேற என்ன
கொஞ்சம் இதெல்லாம் பேசுறேன்.
2 மினிட்ஸ் பேசு பரவாயில்ல பேசலாம் செமினாரை பற்றி ஒரு 2 மினிட்ஸ் சொல்லிட்டு அப்படி வெல்கம் சொல்லி
Prabhu, this is Saravanan. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Saravanan, I'm hearing.
I just want you to actually check my presentation. Can I
Sharing.
change it?
Yeah, why not, please? You can share the.
No, I have put my presentation slide as an inset. Is it visible from your side?
Yeah, it is visible, but it's
Okay.
not that much visible.
That's okay. I'll do one thing. Actually, during the presentation, I will increase the size. How is it now?
It's okay.
Okay.
No, even it's not clear. Better you can share it so that everyone can view your presentation clearly.
I have put in sharing mode only, but I don't know how it has not come. But my first slide I have projected. Is it
Yeah,
okay?
it has come.
Or
We
is
have
it...
to. Yeah, Saravanan, it's fine, but we have to pin. Yeah.
Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Kannavaran sir, only 12 members. All others are in this line or YouTube?
They are in YouTube, sir.
YouTube completely. Okay.
Completely.
Sir, good morning, sir. No, sir. Oh, but your face is not visible, sir.
Are you able to hear?
Dr. Raji? Yes. Director.
Yeah.
Dr. Raji? Director sir has come. Dr. Raji?
I am already there.
Sir. Very good morning, sir.
Good morning. But are you able to see and hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, your voice is very clear. Yeah.
Okay, fine. And your voice is clear.
Yeah, fine, sir. Fine. Thank you. Thanks for coming, sir. We'll start
Most welcome.
program very shortly after joining your vice chancellor.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Gautam, very good morning, sir.
Very good morning, Kanandra.
Sir, shall we start the program, sir?
Yes. Why not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
So very good morning, sir. This is Dr. N. Prabhu. Good morning to all the dignitaries, guests, delegates. With a great joy and happiness, I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all gathered here for national webinar on Next Generation Technology for Sustainable Fisheries, organized by the Department of Fishery Science in collaboration with the Department of Animal Health and Management, Alagappa University, Karaikuri. So I call Dr. E. Kannabran to deliver the welcome address. So the price of success is hard work and dedication, with famous quote. Dr. E. Kannabran is organizing secretary for this webinar, controller of examiner, professor and head in charge of Department of Fishery Science, program coordinator for MSc Zoology, Alagappa University, Karaikuri, and also is a marine biologist, experts in the field of coral reef and ecosystem. So with this, I request Dr. E. Kannabran to deliver the welcome address. Thank you.
Most Honorable Vice Chancellor of Alagappa University, Professor N. Rajendran, most respectable Chief Guest, Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal, Director, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Lucknow, Dr. T.T. Ajit Kumar, Principal Scientist, Scientist in Charge, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Cochin, Dr. N. Saravanan, Scientist F, Center for Marine Living Resources and Ecology, Cochin, most respectable Dr. B. Vasikaran, Head of the Department of Animal Health and Management, and Dr. Professor C. Govindasamy, Department of Fishery Science. My bosom friend and the organizing secretary of this webinar, Dr. N. Prabhu, esteemed faculty members of Department of Fishery Science and Department of Animal Health and Management, postdoctoral fellows, research scholars, students, and other dignitaries of this webinar. Good morning to one and all gathered online. It gives me immense pleasure to extend a warm welcome to the August gathering on the occasion of the National Webinar on Next Generation Technology for Sustainable Fisheries, on the occasion of World Fisheries Day, being organized by Department of Fishery Science in collaboration with Department of Animal Health and Management. It is a matter of happiness that our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Rajendran, is with us today. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor is a man of towering importance in the field of history and management, as well as in the educational circle. He has made an indelible mark on the development of Alagappa University through his prospective leadership. His presence today in this webinar has immensely enhanced its importance. I am deeply indebted to him for accepting our warm invitation and to preside over the function. Alagappa University has achieved many milestones under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. A few of them are: obtained A+ grade with CGPA of 3.64, grading by National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Then Alagappa University is the first university in the Tamil Nadu to obtain A+ grade. Obtained Category 1 status by MHRD UGC and occupies second place out of 12 state universities with Category 1 status in the country. It is the only state university in Tamil Nadu obtained the Category 1 status. Secured 28th position among universities in National Institutional Ranking Framework 2019 ranking. secured 20th position in QS India ranking, 104th position in QS BRICS ranking, and 216th position in QS Asia ranking in 2019. The university has secured 4th position in the Swachhata ranking 2018 for the cleanest higher educational institution in the country in the category of government institutions. The university has obtained ISO 9001 to 2015 certification based on the quality measures in higher education. It has bagged a Silver Zone Award by Indian Association for the Blind for outstanding excellence and amazing contribution for the empowerment of persons with visual challenges. It is the only university in Tamil Nadu which has been sanctioned 100 crores of rupees under MHRD RUSA 2.0 scheme. As the controller of examination, I am happy to say that under the leadership of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Alaupa University has successfully conducted online examination as well as the online evaluation recently with our own software. I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor for granting permission and providing necessary facilities in organizing the webinar. So on the behalf of Department of Fisheries Science and the Department of Animal Health and Management, I welcome you, sir. It is a great pleasure and privilege to welcome today's chief guest, Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal, Director, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Lucknow. So during 24 years of research career, he has extensively worked on exploration of fish genetic resources, genetic stock identification of wild relatives of aquaculture species, and long-term sperm cryopreservation protocol development. He is also involved with various consultative bodies under DADF and NBA related to fish genetic resources, agrobiodiversity, and access benefit sharing. He was the coordinator of genetic and biodiversity program network of aquaculture centers in Asia Pacific at Bangkok, Thailand. He has published more than 100 research papers in the peer-reviewed journals. Sir, I would like to mention here that I had an opportunity to attend the international workshop on DNA barcoding of marine life organized by National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources during 2007. I thank Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal for accepting our invitation to be the chief guest for today's webinar. Once again, I welcome you, sir. I extend a warm welcome to the resource person and my good friends, Dr. T.T. Ajit Kumar and Dr. N. Saravanan. So Dr. T.T. Ajit Kumar is a principal scientist and a scientist in charge, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Cochin. He is a well-known figure in the field of marine ornamental fish research. Recently, Dr. Ajit Kumar has discovered 2 shrimp species which are new to science. He is a member of expert committee constituted by NBA and the Ministry of Environment and Forest. So next, Dr. Saravanan. So Dr. Saravanan is a deep sea expert, deep sea expert, scientist from Center for Marine Living Resources and Ecology. Dr. N. Saravanan has been awarded Certificate of Merit by Ministry of Earth Science for his outstanding contribution in the field of ocean science and technology. He has acted as a program officer for Deep Sea Mission launched by Government of India and participated several cruises of Sagar Sampada as a scientist. So with this brief introduction, I extend a warm welcome to Dr. Saravanan and Dr. T.T. Ajit Kumar. Then I welcome Professor V. Vasigaran, Head Department of Animal Health and Management, and Dr. C. Govindaswamy, Dr. N.M. Prabhu, Organizing Secretary, and other faculty members of Alaupa University. I am delighted to welcome the participants, including faculty members, students, and research scholars from different universities, colleges, research institutions from different states of India, China, Egypt, Angola, as well as professionals from aquaculture industry. So coming to the webinar topic, World Fisheries Day is being celebrated every year on 21st November throughout the world. Recent studies reported that more than 2/3 of the world fisheries have been overfished and more than 1/3 are in a state of decline because of factors such as the loss of essential fish habitats, pollution, and global warming. So World Fisheries Day celebration serves as an important reminder that we must focus on changing the way the world manages global fisheries to ensure sustainable stock and healthy ocean ecosystem. This webinar will motivate the young academicians and researchers to understand the recent technologies for sustainable fisheries. I once again thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Chief Guest, Resource Person for taking time out of their busy schedule to share their own knowledge and experience in the pursuit of mutual learning. I would like to record my appreciation and thanks to the Organizing Secretary, Dr. N.M. Prabhu, for his support in organizing this webinar. I wish to extend my hearty welcome to everyone who have joined this webinar and everyone for enabling us to organize this webinar. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for our welcome address. Now, the presidential address by our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Rajendran, Alagappa University. Our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Rajendran, Alagappa University, has 34 years of experience in teaching and research in the area of history. He is the only academician to hold this prestigious position of General Secretary of two primary history associations simultaneously. Your positive thoughts and positive thinking result in success. I humbly request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Rajendran, Alagappa University, to deliver the presidential address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Prabhu, and a very warm good morning to everybody. In fact, I'm extremely happy to be part of this national webinar on next generation technology for sustainable fisheries on the day of World Fisheries Day. In fact, Dr. Kanabiran, who is Professor and Head in charge of this department, who is also the controller of examination, has brought in a very, illuminating panelists for this national webinar. First of all, I would like to say welcome, joining hands with Dr. Kanabiran, Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal, Director, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Lucknow, and also Dr. Ajit Kumar, who is not a new person to our university, Dr. Saravanan, and also Dr. Vasigaran, who is also the Professor and Head of the Department of Animal Health and Management of our university, and Dr. Prabhu, Dr. Govindasamy, who has just retired from the department, who has been the founder of this department. So, in fact, it is a very, happy morning, I must say, because after I assumed the office, Alagappa University has been endowed with a very good science department, a science campus, and particularly the faculty belonging to science departments have been contributing richly to the enhancement of knowledge and also enhancement of quality in our university. And I thought I've been meeting Dr. Govindasamy, and he also been putting forward, because there was only there was no department, but he was running a course. Dr. Govindasamy was running a MSc program on fisheries science, and he said there is no department, sir. I thought it is an incompatible situation. Without a department, how can you run a program? And also they have a percolation pond, and also a huge percolation pond, and where the water of the entire university is stored, and that has been put to good use by Dr. Govindasamy by converting that into, say, a fishery pond. And I think that is a very practical solution that he has offered, domestication of fishes inside the university campus. And under such circumstances, I felt that it is essential that we start a department of fisheries science, and it has been inaugurated just last year. In fact, it has been doing very well, though it is a very young and nascent department, almost a child, I must say. But the faculty members are dedicated, especially Dr. Kanabiran, who has an onerous task of running the controller's office, as well as he has been evincing a lot of interest in the Department of Fisheries, newly started Department of Fisheries. And we have requested Dr. Govindasamy, who has just retired this year, to be part of this department as an adjunct faculty, who has readily consented, and he is being with us for the last, 6 months or so. So under these circumstances, I must say that Alagappa University in physical sciences, particularly sciences like physics, chemistry, and the other sciences like biotechnology, bioinformatics, biosensors, has been doing extremely well. In fact, our university's H-index has been richly contributed by our traditional departments like chemistry, physics, and biotechnology departments. But I think once Arepa University qualified for RUSA 2.0 scheme, which has been selected on the basis of the NAC score across the country. In fact, Arepa University has scored 3.64 CGPA, and as a result, MHRD has selected 10 universities across the country. And Arepa University is the only state university from Tamil Nadu to qualify for this and obtain 100 crores grant. The first installment of the grant has been released, and this has been equally distributed to all the departments, including Fisheries Science Department, and they have been doing very well. That is one point. In fact, the number of, enrollment in the PG program has been steadily rising, and only problem is that they had a problem of accommodation and space. They needed elbow space. Unfortunately, we had a new building inaugurated, and that building has been also, enough space has been given to Fisheries Science Department, and hence neither Dr. Govindswamy nor Dr. Kanambiran may have any grudges or any complaint as far as space is concerned. And similarly, Arepa University is also endowed with an offshore campus. It's called Tondi campus in Ramnad district, just 60 kilometers away from the main campus. It is so ideally situated across the on the seashore. We have a Department of Oceanography, and these days I think the National Education Policy has enunciated that there should be not only multidisciplinary approach to knowledge creation, because it says that the graduates coming out of the portals of higher education institution should not only possess knowledge, but also they should possess skills. And another important component is it should be not only multidisciplinary, but transdisciplinary. I think fisheries science, oceanography, and biotechnology, now all these departments should come together. And I think they should play a very vital role in, keeping the traditions of Arepa University, as well as making use of the facilities available with Arepa University. Because nowhere that institute situation to say for experimental purposes, for sea fishes or marine fishes or marine species are available when a university is situated in a landlocked territory. But whereas in Arepa University, it so happened that it has a 19 acres land as well as a huge building which are available with a museum also for marine species, very on the shores of Ithoni. I think that Dr. Kanabiran and his faculty members should take advantage of the situation, because these situations are not the ownership of one particular department. It is should be used by almost all the departments which are have some stakes in the, say, knowledge generation. And also, I think gone are the days when each department tried to confine themselves within the framework of, say, their own departmental activities, not minding what is happening in other departments. I think these are the age-old practices, and practices which need to be shed and departed. And we need to make a departure from all such practices. There should be an active cooperation among various departments of the university, even social sciences, sociology. They can take, they can actively work with the fisheries science department and take into consideration the labor force involved in fishing, their social problems, and as a result, even the research questions, what the Fisheries Science Department should be prompting is that whatever problems that confront the fisher folk in and around Ramnad, because the Ramnad has a very vast coast, and hence Rameswaram adjoining regions. And hence this particular department should take into account with the collaboration of Social Sciences Department, the problems confronted by the fisher folk, particularly this World Fisheries Day at this stage is very, very important. That is because, the pandemic situation, COVID-19, which has brought in, has a very adverse impact on the entire workforce of the world. I am given a statistics that estimated for 59.5 million people are involved in the entire labor force of fishing, and particularly Asia has the highest number of workers in this sector, and particularly women. Two out of one is a woman involved in the workforce, and 85% of the world total labor force is involved in Asia. That is also very important aspect. And 3.1 million vessels, it accounts for 68% of the global total fishing fleet, are also associated with Asian, say, countries. Under such circumstances, COVID-19 has brought in social separation and also closure of fishing markets, because essentially the trouble, it has been started with a fishing market in Wuhan, China, but ultimately in order to avoid social crowding and to maintain social distancing, I think the fishing markets have been closed, and also hotels and restaurants also been closed. And this has created challenges for the sale of fresh fish and related products. And principally in the collapse in the demand for fishing products and the lowering of prices offered for such cash, and these things have really created an adverse economic situation for the people who are in the industry of fishing industry, and this has really has been a problem. Additionally, there are certain chronic problems faced by the fishing industry. One such problem, I'm sure that all the enlightened participants are aware of it. That is fisheries crime, and one such fisheries crime is overfishing and illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing, which continue around the world under different flags and by groups who dispose of powerful fleet and better resourced. And I think it is a practice that is not sustainable, and that leads to decreased fish population and to reduce future production. Because we have an obligation, to pass on the environment, sustainable environment, to the succeeding generations. And in addition to this, there are two other major problems. One is climate change, which results in fish stocks moving away from historical grounds, and also the feeding millions of people a healthy source of protein, that is fish, in a sustainable way. And I think these are very important aspects, and also the involvement of technology. Technology has, in fact, can help sustainability in marine life, can introduce and also bring in a remarkable change in the aquaculture and aqua product, because of the research that is going on. At the same time, technology also has a double-edged weapon, where because of the technology available, there is a overkill is happening. That I already said, overfishing is happening, and as a result, there is a depletion of the marine life around the world. And naturally, it has to be countered by two important aspects. One is the subsidies given for such fishing need to be stopped or reduced. And secondly, domestication of fish also is very important. thing for a sustainable development. I think these are the issues I'm sure that the panelists will be discussing today. And we have very, say, learned panelists with us, like Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal. I would like to thank Dr. Kuldeep Lal for joining this webinar, taking time from his busy schedule to be part of this morning session, and also Ajit Kumar, Dr. Ajit Kumar, and Dr. Saravane. So I wish all the participants a very fruitful and also enlightened sessions on this national webinar on next generation technology for sustainable fisheries. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Professor, for your valuable time and your presidential address. Thank you, sir. Now it's a time for thematic address. Success is how high you bounce when you hit bottom. I request the convener, Dr. B. Vasigaran, Professor and Head of the Department, Animal Health and Management, Alapa University, Karaikudi, to deliver the thematic address. Dr. B. Vasigaran, renowned person in the field of crustacean immunology. He is having more than 200 publications with a high H index, as well as he is holding many administrative positions in Alagappa University. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. N.M. Prabhu. Good morning, all of you. Most respected and honorable Vice Chancellor Professor N. Rajendran, Alagappa University, Karaikudi, and Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal, Director, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resource, Lucknow, and Dr. T.T. Ajit Kumar, Principal Scientist and Scientist in Charge, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Cochin, Dr. E. Kannabran, Professor and Head IC, Department of Fisheries Science, Alagappa University, and Dr. C. Govindasamy, Retired Professor, Department of Fisheries, Alagappa University, and the eminent speaker, Dr. N. Saravane and Dr. N.M. Prabhu, and the research scholars and the students of Department of Fisheries and Department of Animal Health Management, and all other various participants of this national webinar on next generation technology for sustainable fisheries. A very warm good morning, all of you, and I am very happy to present the thematic address of this great national webinar on next generation technology for sustainable fisheries. As you all know that we need to sustain the fisheries, because fisheries give more importance in the human society. As our Honorable Vice Chancellor rightly pointed about the importance of the fisheries in Asian, in the global level. As today is the World Fisheries Day, we must discuss about these points, and we must understand some points and some research knowledges and the recent next generation technologies for the sustainable fisheries. You see most of the employment and most of the women employment are generated from this fisheries sector and aquaculture industry. So the main theme or this how to protect the fisheries sector. Nowadays, there are a lot of things I need to discuss with that, but in brief, I need to discuss some of the point in this thematic address, that is microbial disease problems in fisheries sector and nanotechnology involvement in the fisheries sector. And you all know that bioplastic pollution is one of the huge criteria to discuss nowadays. Because of that bioplastic pollution, the fisheries sector or the fisheries growth or fisheries production is greatly decreased. And I need to discuss something about the sequence of some immune-related genes of these fishes and how it helps to control the diseases, and molecular tools used for the genetic diversity or biodiversity analysis, and to discuss something about the exploitation of fishes. These are all my highlighted area. One by one, I need to discuss some points about the microbial diseases in fisheries. you see that microbial diseases occur at all stages of these fishes and are responsible for considerable production losses in the sector. So worldwide, so many scientists and so many, what we can say, aqua farmers are involving how to control the diseases in this aquaculture sector, especially in fisheries. You see that most of the farmers or most of them are using antibiotics, chemotherapeutic, immunostimulants, or the probiotics, prebiotics. These are all some of the products used to control the diseases in the sector. And the recent technologies and the recent what we consider the recent involvement of technological development. One is nanotechnology. Present day nanotechnology is also involved in the control of diseases. I need not tell the one by one the diseases of shrimps and fishes. I need to tell these points. I think presently nanotechnology, the preparation of nanocompounds, nanocomposites, and how to use the nanocomposites to the fishery sector for the control of diseases. That is one point. And we in this webinar, we must know about the bioplastic pollution. That plastic, you see that sea is polluted with so many articles come in the newspaper front line, that thing, how to protect the sea from the microplastic pollutions and pollution. This everybody's are in the students community, research scholar community have some points to how to control or how give awareness to the people to arrest the bioplastic usage, since it is leads to a very big problem in fishery sector. That is the one. And my own area, you see that some genes, immune related genes of the fishes as well as shrimps are sequenced in Indian scenario. Actually, we after my postdoctoralship in Taiwan, I came here and to do some of the research in the immune related genes of shrimps as well as the fishes, and the genes involvement in the what we can say the immune system and how it can be controlled. That also we have discussed this point. Also we can what we can say, we propagate these sections also, the technology involvement. And then next one is the molecular tools. Some of the molecular tools nowadays, COI had rightly pointed out by Dr. E. Kannabran, and I would like to congratulate Dr. Ajit Kumar in this webinar for the new species invention. There are 2 species recently invented by him and recently published in so many publications. This also very important. This is one of the we need to protect, and this has to be recorded by identification by molecular tools, and it should be recorded in the world record. So that that also important in this. And the exploitation of fishes. You see that the exploitation of fishes also, more number of fishes, and we need to produce more number of fishes. We need to arrest the exploitation of fishes. And these are all the important points I need to give you this thematic address. And I hope the webinar would be give you a great knowledge with the expert list of Dr. K.K. Ajit Kumar and Dr. Kuldeep Lal, Director ICR National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Lucknow. I heard about him, very good expert and expert in this field, and Dr. N. Saravane and other experts to participate this. And I would like to congratulate the Department of Fisheries, Dr. E. Kannabran and Dr. C. Govindasamy, Dr. N. M. Prabhu, for this. And even though my department of Animal Health Management, faculty members and students involvement, best wishes to all, and I wish to all grand success of this webinar. Thank you very much. One and all.
Thank you very much, sir, for your valuable information in the thematic address. So now it's a time for inaugural address. A successful and unsuccessful person do not vary greatly in their abilities. They differ in their desires to reach their potential. First of all, I thank Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal for accepting our invitation to be the chief guest for the today's webinar. He has extensively worked on the exploration of fish genetic resources, genetic stock identification of wild relatives of aquaculture species, and long-term sperm conservation, cryopreservation protocol development. He is also involved in various counseling bodies related to fish genetic resources. He was coordinator for genetics and biodiversity program at Network of Aquaculture Centers in Asia Pacific at Bangkok, Thailand. He has published more than 100 research papers in peer-reviewed impact journals. With this brief introduction, I request Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal, our chief guest, Director, ICR National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Lucknow, to deliver the inaugural address. Thank you, sir. Sir? Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal, sir, are you in the line, sir?
You have to address that.
MS team Google. MS team Google.
அவர் பேசுறது கேட்க மாட்டாங்களா? அவர் லைன்ல தான் இருக்காரு.
Sorry, we are not able to connect director. Just a moment. ஹலோ சரி சரி பண்ணிட்டேன். ஓகே.
என்ன பிரச்சனையா இருக்கு?
Hello. He will disconnect and he will join. Okay. Okay. Dr. Ajit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
அது யூடியூப்ல வருதுன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் சாரோட பேசுறது.
யூடியூப்ல வருதா?
ஆமா ஆமா, நமக்கு தான் வரல. நான் அதை கனெக்ட் பண்ண சொல்றேன்.
ஓகே ஓகே.
நம்ம அதை பின் பண்ணணும். அவங்க
நீங்க பின் பண்ணுங்க.
தம்பி யாருமே இல்லை. ஆமா
ஹலோ அப்படியா? ஓகே 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 ஓகே. இந்த நான் பேசுறேன்.
Hello. Hello. பேசுறது கேக்குதா? டைரக்டர் பேசுறது கேட்க மாட்டீங்கல்ல? சரி ஓகே.
அவர் சார் பேசுறது சொல்லுங்க. ஜிஸ்டில கனெக்ட் பண்ணது வர
மைக்ரோஃபோன்.
ஓகே ஓகே.
ஹலோ சார், வசீரன் சார். ஹலோ சார்.
சொல்லுங்க.
சார் வீட்டில் இருக்காங்க சார், கொஞ்சம் அன்மியூட் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க சார்.
சரி வரேன்.
ஓகே சார்.
ஓகே.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I start now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Extremely sorry for this slight glitch. I think it was some incompatibility of the hardware with this new software. I do not know. And still, camera is still not working. Anyway, we have to live with this also. Sometimes.
Yes, sir. Sometimes it happens, sir. Please.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me to this function. Most respected Professor N. Rajendran Saab, Vice Chancellor of the Alagapaj University, Dr. E. Kannapiran. First, thank you very much for this invitation and giving me this opportunity. I am grateful to Dr. Vashiran and his knowledgeable lecture on aquatic animal disease, which is one of our area also. Thank you very much. Dr. Shavne, our old friend, and Dr. T.T. Ajit Kumar, my colleague. Again, thanks for giving me this nostalgic moment, because associating with an university from Tamil Nadu is always a privilege for me, because I completed my PhD at Tuticorin. So I owe a lot to that area. So you can never. There is a thinking that below the farm types, below the species level, aquaculture has not moved. Like we exploit or harvest crop varieties, not crop species. We harvest livestock breeds, not the livestock species. But in the fisheries sector, we are still at the level of species. We are now to go to the genetic diversity, which is below the species level. Their own management plans, their own usable plans. So live germplasm research center concept gives us that opportunity where we can bring the species in captivity, their genetic stocks in captivity across their distribution range, and evaluate them for use. We have discovered some of the new species like Pangasius silasii, and we named after Professor E.G. Silas, because in 1956 he had stated that there must be another Pangasius species in the peninsular India. We discovered in 2017 and published it. Now we are trying to evaluate it. It's a big species. It's having higher omega-3 than the normal Pangasius, which is eaten, which is coming from Vietnam with white fillet. So that is one part of the evaluation, that how we can use a genetic resource which we have discovered. Same thing what is happening with the ornamental shrimp. Ornamental is an easy way that we can establish a model to bring to the public, okay, this way the things can happen. So ornamental shrimp, what we discovered now, we are breeding. They're in the second generation. At the same time, we had started training the local native people, so that ultimately the gain of upscaling is done through the native people, because we are to also to take into account the Biological Diversity Act, which says the properties of the native communities. So before using it for trade, this genetic resources through breeding, this also will be important that we see that how native communities get the benefit. And aquatic animal diseases is important, because whenever we go for intensification, diseases are bound to come. Because if in that chain, one person does not follow the best management practices, he is prone to get the pathogens, and he is prone to become host to the pathogen for their multiplication. And that's how it spreads. Nothing more scenario like COVID-19 can make us to understand that how the pathogens can spread, and what is the reason, what is the importance of credible reporting in the international world. COVID has taught us that international world needs credible reporting by every country. It is for every animal. If there was a credible reporting of COVID-19, the countries would have saved themselves. Same thing is happening with the aquatic animal disease. Every 3 months, India is bound to report the emerging diseases to the international world, every country. Now, same way. Now, for that, the surveillance program was started, because in 2014, the India legislated the aquatic animal disease under an act. That means now it is a law. It's a binding to all of us, whether the partner in NASPAD surveillance program or not. It is binding on us. If we have any emerging new disease coming, we must report to the center, NASPAD centers. So, because it is under the law now. So NASPAD first phase was a prototype development entrusted to NBFGR to implement across the country, to develop a model that how we implement, because India is an entirely different kind of country. It is a continent in itself. So the world is looking at this, one of the largest experiment of a surveillance program, which was spread in 20 states, which are equivalent to 20 countries rather. So how we establish in such a diverse climate one single aimed program, that is National Surveillance Program on Aquatic Animal Diseases. Now I'm happy to share this, Now this program has been taken up as a central scheme under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. That means now the country will have to implement the surveillance. Disease surveillance for aquatic animal disease. It has benefits because it can give you the early alerts to the farmer, early alerts to the State Department to handle, early alerts to other countries where our exports goes to safeguard themselves. So this will be surveillance program, and on this academic, one of the greatest success of this program was it brought together policy and the educationists at one platform. Direct merging of the this policy makers and the research institutions and universities at one platform was one of the reasons for the success of this program within the limited time of 5 years. Thank you very much again for giving me this opportunity and sharing my views. I wish all the success to this program as well as the university, and best wishes to all your students. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Very kind of you, sir.
So it's a time for vote of thanks. Thank you express extreme gratitude, humbleness, understanding. I request Dr. C. Govindasamy, retired professor, Department of Fisheries Science, Alagappa University, to deliver the vote of thanks. Dr. Govindasamy rich experience in marine diversity, and he made a lot of effort to initiate the Department of Fisheries Science. Sir?
Sir, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Good morning to everyone in this beautiful and pleasant morning of World Fisheries Day. I'm happy to online here to the national webinar for presenting the vote of thanks. I heartily welcome to you all in this special occasion of that, especially for World Fisheries Day. I, on behalf of our staff members and students, School of Marine Science, Department of Fisheries Science, and their entire fraternity of online here today of this national webinar on online function, and on my own behalf, I extend my heartily vote of thanks to all the speakers to taking the time for our respective schedule to create the national webinar on next generation technology for sustainable fisheries on this occasion of Fisheries World Fisheries Day. A immense thank you, sir, for our beloved honorable dynamic Vice Chancellor Professor N. Rajendran of this prestigious Alagappa University preside and inaugurate the presidential address of this national webinar function. Our Vice Chancellor always encourage in all aspects, especially for development of fishery science. But Vice Chancellor says I am the founder of that fishery science. But I am not the founder of fishery science. That our Vice Chancellor is the founder of fishery science. He created the fishery science. Once again, I thanks to the Vice Chancellor. After that, creating the Department of Fishery Science, he helped in maximum level of that development of the particular fisheries, and encourage in all aspects, especially for development of fisheries, especially ornamental aquarium in the aluminium garden of this fisheries department to touch the maximum height of that lively department of our university. Our Vice Chancellor given the message is the very inspiring, motivational to the students and research scholars, especially for our staff members of the Alagappa University. And it's an excellent and outstanding message for our given that our honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor N. Rajendran. Our chief guest, thank you, sir. Our chief guest, Dr. Guldeep Lal, Director, Institute of Indian Council of Agriculture Research, National Bureau of Fisheries, Genetics and Resources, Lucknow, Government of India, delivered the inaugural address very shortly. The inspiring, the motivational talk are excellent and outstanding in the field of fisheries development and their importance area of the research at present at the national and international level is excellent. And I'm sure that the students and research scholars and scientists and invitees all are online here. You have a share to take away from the speech in this subject. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your inspiring speech. We also sincere thanks to Professor B. Vasigaran, Professor and Head Department of Animal Health and Management, Alagappa University, delivered the valuable information in this thematic address, especially for that fishery genetic diversity. And thank you, sir. We are highly thankful to the Professor E. Kannabran, Professor and Head, Alagappa University, given a creditable welcome address. Thank you, sir. We record our grateful thanks to the speaker in advance, Dr. N. Saravanan, scientist of Central Marine Living Resources and Ecology, Cochin, and our beloved T.T. Ajit Kumar, principal scientist and scientist in charge, ICR, National Bureau of Fish Genetics Resources, Cochin. Both of them on the way to provide extensive information about the forthcoming sustainable fisheries technology for future generation. Wholeheartedly, Department of Fisheries, welcome you, sir. Once again, we welcome all the two speakers. We also wish to express my sincere thanks to advance our team member, the organizing secretary, N.M. Prabhu, Assistant Professor, Department of Animal Health, Alagappa University, are this webinar concluding remarks section. And welcome you, sir. We are all inspiring by your great words, especially in that Fisheries Day. We also wish to express my sincere thanks to Professor H. Komules Prabhu, Registrar, Alagappa University. We cannot thank everyone, especially the university administrative staff and the media person on this involvement and their willingness to take the completion of the task. Our sincere thanks to Dr. R. Srinivasan, Dr. K. Ganapathy Selvam, Dr. Valajraj, and Dr. Kannan, teaching assistant of this Department of Fisheries Science, the dynamic workforce colleagues of that department, other teaching and non-teaching staff of our university. For that perfect logistic support and guidance, they are extend to all us to the webinar of this seminar. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to place my record. Our heartily thanks to our head of the department, Dr. E. Kannabran, his encouraged cooperation and organizing such a event great manner along with the team members. Once again, our wholeheartedly thanks to our beloved Vice Chancellor, Registrar, Controller of Examination, Chief Guest, invited speakers, Member of Syndicates, Deans, Head of the Department, Professors, Eminents, our beloved students and research scholars, once again, including postgraduate PDF students. Once again, we want to state that we are all most grateful to you all, sir. We thank you being with us the occasion. It has been a great pleasure of that World Fisheries Day. Thank you very much. Once again, I thank you very much on behalf of the Department of Fisheries. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your vote of thanks. Now it's a time for a technical section. The purpose of this seminar, as you know that the fishery sector considered as one of the important segment to prevail over the food demands for the growing population. It provides employment opportunity and healthy food to human society. India has already exported $7 billion US worth of seafood, and the value of the Indian domestic market is worth of 8 billion USD. So in this next 5 to 10 years, this quantity may be doubled. To achieve this, we need a new technology, and we should have awareness on the challenges to reach this destination. Some of the key challenges are data management system for new and current species, improving fish genetic bank facilities, genetic improvement for culture stocks, nuclear breeding center for cultivable species, establishing broodstock banks, recirculating aquaculture systems, disease surveillance program, food security and traceability, reducing the cost of feed production for shrimp and fish feed by finding quality, low-cost feed ingredient like alternative to fish meal and soya bean, biofloc technology, biosecurity procedures in hatchery and farms. So I hope this national webinar, the participants from different parts of the country within the state will ensure the quality of getting information, essence of the above said challenges from our eminent speakers today. With this, now it's a great pleasure to call upon N. Sarvanani, scientist F, CMLRE, is actively involved in the national programs of marine living resources, resource exploration and inventory system. He is actively involved in the Indobis Indian Ocean Biography Information System of Info Governmental Oceanographic Commission. He is also the member of the Indian delegates for the UNCLSO's new global implementing agreement, namely the Biodiversity Beyond the Nation Jurisdiction. He is also a member in the CCMLR Conventional on Conservation of Antarctic Living Resources. He is a very good expert, professional, and you can say so on. With this, I call N. Saravanani for delivering his technical address, technical speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhu. Hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, actually, I thank the organizer for having invited me for this important webinar on next generation technology for sustainable fisheries. And I really thank all the organizers, starting from Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor N. Rajendran and respected Sriharan and Director Kannabiran, and also actually the retired Professor Dr. Govindasamy, and my own friend Dr. Ajit Kumar, and the organizers, and finally Mr. Prabhu. I'll be actually talking today on one of the hot subject. No, I would say, because today's topic is World Fisheries Day. Many of you know, but we should not actually forget the fact that the fishery alone cannot be actually taken for conservation or otherwise any developmental activity without actually considering the whole ecosystem from which it was actually supported. Therefore, actually, I thought it would be pertinent to talk about marine living resources and the priority areas in the marine living resources. It would be actually nice for the students to understand how our capture fishery is sustained and how this capture fishery is actually supported by the environment from which it was actually caught. So therefore, actually, I start my presentation on marine living resources and research priorities. The first and foremost thing is that, as I explained, globally, people have actually gone from the concept of resource-specific management to actually ecosystem approach. The ecosystem approach is something which all of us know is actually looking at the entire aspects of the ecosystem. It is not actually addressing a particular component of the ecosystem, like actually in the case of our today discussion is fishery. So ecosystem approach has been widely used in international agreement, like in the case of CVD, there has been actually. Is it okay? Can I actually proceed? Prabhu, can you respond? Hello? Prabhu, can you respond?
I think your internet connection is very low. Strength is very low.
My internet is, are you not actually getting my voice and slides?
Both are. Okay.
Uh, can someone respond? Actually, am I audible?
It's audible one.
Okay, can I
Saravanan,
go
it is
ahead?
audible only.
It's
Oh,
Saravanan, it's
sure.
audible one.
Yeah, please
Okay.
go ahead. Actually, can you please make the slide as a full screen?
It's okay.
I've made it as
Try to
full
make.
screen. I've made it as
Okay,
full
okay.
screen.
Then, okay, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Anyway, I do not know whether you are able to see my slides.
Maybe I
I'm
can see
sorry,
it.
first of all, actually the fonts are so small, but however, I'll try to actually explain the content.
We are viewing the slide, but the slide size of the slide is very small. That's why I told. But it is visible only. Go ahead, please.
Okay. No, I think I would not actually go into the details of how the fishery management is done in our country, because it's something which all of you would be getting it, because we are living in an age of internet and as well as in an era of Google. So instead of actually explaining the details about the fishery, I thought it would be better to share my experience on the management of marine living resources and the factor that is affecting the marine living resources. In any case, the fishery is part of the marine living resources. So first, better, I'll start with a slide which actually gives you an idea of what is marine living resources, how it is actually started, and how long it is continuing. See, in this first slide, I have actually projected that number of actually expeditions specifically carried out actually international organization on the marine living resources of Indian Ocean. It is actually started with a British Challenger expedition in 18th century, and almost actually there are about actually 7 major expedition, and the last, but not least, the comprehensive marine living resources was actually studied in the IIOE expedition, which was concluded in the year 1965. So this is actually a background of the marine living resources program of this country. But why the question is arises that why this marine living resources program has to be actually studied when all of us are interested only on fisheries. As I said, in many of these international forums, especially Convention on Biological Diversity and UN Law of the Sea, then Commission for Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources Program, and there are so many other international instruments are actually advocating for fishery resource management. We should actually adapt an ecosystem approach. It is not actually a technological tool, because many of you are interested. I will be talking about the technological tool, but it is something different. Today I will be talking. This is not a technological tool. It is actually a management tool in order to at least sustain our fishery. As many of you know, I would actually suggest you to actually go through also a Google to find out what is the exact meaning of this sustainability. If you just go through the Google, it says actually you have to actually meet your need without actually compromising the ability of actually the future generation to meet their need. This is actually the simple definition of sustainability, which even these international agreements are all actually uh, subscribing to in general. But what we have to actually do it for sustainability, that is the question actually is in front of us. So maybe actually you also can actually get an idea about actually what is the level of our capture fishery. As far as India is concerned, the capture fishery, we are actually the second world biggest capture fishery nation. And if you actually see what actually those titles are actually really mean. We are actually talking about a resource which is actually about 3.8 million tons. This is actually the resource which we are actually talking about. But there are actually other resources which we are totally ignoring too, and also the other components of the food web that support this 3.8 million metric ton of actually fishery resources. Unless you see them actually as an component as a whole, it would be actually difficult for us to sustain this 3.8 million actually fishery in future. So therefore, in that aspect, I thought I would likely cover my topic today. So, this is actually an input to all of you as an academic interest. Out of actually total biodiversity, which we are actually saying that we are actually having with proudly and all, actually the fishery constitute only less than actually something around like 20%. Whatever is known so far. I'm sorry once again because I'm hearing proudly and all, like the fishery constitute only. I'm actually hearing some sound from background. Is that okay? I'm audible to everyone?
Yes, Saravanan, it is audible, please.
Okay. Okay, I think I'll go into again where I have left. Hello? No, is it okay? Okay. Can I proceed? Prabhu, just confirm my slides are actually okay. Can I proceed? Hello.
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Ajit, at least can you confirm whether my voice is audible and my slides are okay?
No, Saravanan, your voice is audible, slide is appearing, however, it is too small, not it appearing in whole screen. That's why we couldn't read the content of the slide. That is the problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But your voice is very clear.
Okay. I will do one thing. Actually, give me a few minutes. I will actually try to put my screen onto the video. Just
Yeah.
1 minute.
Okay. Now Saravanan presentation is going on. After that only. Okay. Hello. Now it is okay. Now it is okay.
Okay.
Full screen appeared. It is very nice. Go ahead, please. Not only fish. Into here, no? That,
I'm extremely sorry. I think that new platform is, somehow. Oh, it is okay. Okay. Thank you again. Okay. So I thought actually I'll share with you some of the actually information about the status of biodiversity in which actually the fishery is also part. See, we are actually talking about the fishery, which is only just actually 10 to 15% of the total biodiversity that supports this actually 3.8 million metric ton, which we are actually talking and we have to actually manage, etc. But unless actually we see how this actually 3.8 million metric ton of actually fishery is supported by the whole environment, it would be actually difficult for us to draw down a management approach. So the ecosystem approach has actually been advocated by many international organizations and as well as global instrument as one of the tool actually for effective management of fisheries. What is ecosystem approach? So people get often confused between actually ecosystem approach and ecosystem principle. The ecosystem approach is actually something different, which is actually integrate the entire component, land, water, and that as well as the components of the actually biodiversity in which it is actually living in. So the ecosystem approach actually takes into account the every aspects of the food web component. So therefore, by addressing the fishery through ecosystem approach is an effective way of actually sustaining these resources for the future. So I would actually not indulge into explaining as what is ecosystem approach because as I have already informed you that we are living in an age of Google and everything is available off the line and as well as online. But it would be nice if I actually bring in some examples with which it is easy for you to actually understand as how the ecosystem approach as a tool is used for the effective management of fishery resources. Okay, so this is actually a concept which I thought I will actually show you. So essentially this picture shows you everything is integrated. So we must actually have a feeling before actually going for any management of any particular resources that how these particular resources are interlinked, how what are all the underlying causes of it changes, especially abiotic, actually biotic and abiotic features. So now, I will actually start with one particular slide on what is our actually resource we found in our Indian water. See, we are actually talking 3.8 million metric ton of fishes is actually available, but what is actually maximum sustainable yield? So unless we calculate that how much is the maximum sustainable fishery is possible, we can't actually give any management advisories. So 3.8 million metric ton is being actually caught from the wild. That is actually happening. But how much is available from the wild in our environment? Unless we know, it would be actually difficult whether we have achieved what is maximum sustainable yield, or otherwise we are over exploiting our resources. So through this ecosystem approach, CMLRE and as well as Fisheries Survey of India has actually taken up a major program as to actually divide the whole actually ecosystem into major component like primary producers, secondary producers, and actually tertiary producers, and as well as also accounted into actually sources and sink, of the entire ecosystem, and found out there is actually about 4.6 million actually metric ton of actually fishery is possible. But the entire 4.6 million metric ton is not possible to be exploited for many reasons, because some of them, as I have actually indicated in this slide, are not available readily in the coastal water. Because only when it is available in the coastal water, people would be able to actually catch them. But whereas actually when it is available in the offshore, because our infrastructure and the inability of our people to go in deep sea area, they would not be able to actually go into those areas and capture. So therefore, we need to actually have an holistic idea that how much is actually being exploited, how much is sustainably can be exploited. If these two values are not actually matching, that means that we are heading into a disaster. That is why in many of this fishery forum hiring, I'm hearing people actually saying we are over exploiting. Why it is actually being said as over exploited? Because there is incoherence in our actually approach as how much is actually exploitable and how much is being exploited. So therefore actually because of this incoherence, probably we are ending up in over exploiting our resources. So I thought actually I would also actually explain, while actually going for ecosystem approach in understanding the dynamics of the resources, what are all the actually factors that needs to be actually studied? Because unless a framework is developed, which will actually kind of give us a condition that sustain this natural ecosystem and apply this principle to the sustainability of managing ecosystem, it would be actually difficult for us to manage any resources, not only actually fishery resources, even actually any other resources that for the matter. So I'll start with actually one classical example under each category, whatever that I have listed here. The first one is actually physical process. Physical process, we all know that our ecosystem is driven majoritarily by the physical forcings, and we also have like actually chemical parameters which actually drives these changes. And in addition to these abiotic factors, we also actually come across the ecological, actually biological response to these ecological changes. What are the biological response? One major response is actually algal blooms. So when the abiotic changes are happening, immediately we will have an impact on the primary productivity. But not always we will actually get a primary productivity that will be usable directly by the fishery. There are sometimes where you will get actually blooms of actually algae that will not be, though it is considered as a primary production, it will not be usable for the actually fishery production. So therefore, the biological responses actually of due to this abiotic changes is not always favorable. So therefore, we need to actually take into consideration of the biological response, whether it is actually positive response or negative response. Then also about the benthic production, because we actually consider the fishery production as an independent actually commodity, but the contribution of the benthic productivity to this pelagic ecosystem is immense. So therefore, the response of the benthic organism to the abiotic changes is also important. I will be actually citing some classical examples on this, how this benthic production is actually affected due to the actually abiotic changes. And finally, the regime shift. Many of us actually are actually thinking that today whatever we are getting it from the wild, will be continue to actually be there for a long time. But it is not actually a case. When you actually go for a modeling aspect, people will actually say that whatever is actually coming from the primary productivity, a percentage of which goes to actually secondary production. Again, a percentage of the secondary production goes to tertiary production. But thing is that although the carbon flow is actually uniform with whatever changes is happening in the environment, but the net change in the type of fishes which is actually found is going to be actually different. So the type of fishes which is going to be there is really going to actually affect our economic interest. If the same species actually is found, it is fine. If the same species is not actually there, and if some other species is going to occupy the niche of the species which is presently there, there will be a problem because it would be actually affecting our economic interest. And the third one is actually that all these changes also will lead to actually major changes in the biodiversity because we not in a position to understand the changes in a whole on what is happening on the biodiversity, but still there are some indicators. The species, some of the species which is found in the environment could be taken as an keystone species, which is also actually reflecting the changes in the environment. So these are the factors, I would say, rather as a conditions of the framework for monitoring the ecosystem through ecosystem approach. So I will actually go with the classical examples on all these things. So when I said the physical processes which is affecting the ecosystem, there are actually multiple way of actually these physical forces affecting the ecosystem. One is actually we all know that the upwelling phenomena. Upwelling is something which is actually affecting the primary productivity, and it is also not uniform in all over the sea. There are actually packets of region where, especially on the Arabian Sea, if you see, the Kerala and Karnataka coast has been witnessing, upwelling. Every year it is a recurring phenomena. But whereas when you go to actually little north, especially northeastern Arabian Sea beyond Goa up to Gujarat, they are actually completely a different ecosystem. They are primarily actually influenced by the salinity induced in a winter convection, whereas actually the southern region, especially Kerala and Karnataka, is primarily induced by the upwelling phenomena. While this is the case in the case of Arabian Sea, coming to Bay of Bengal, the physical process that is affecting this primary productivity in these regions are completely different. They are not actually regulated neither by upwelling nor the winter convection, which is actually driven by the salinity gradient. Whereas in the case of Bay of Bengal, it is actually due to mainly cyclonic eddy, because the cyclonic eddies are primarily actually formed during the cyclones, and it will be a intermittent process, so which is actually driving actually deep ocean water to the surface, and in turn it is influencing the primary productivity. So what I wanted to essentially say, there are different physical processes bringing out changes in different parts of our Indian Sea. So basically these processes has to be studied. Suppose if you wanted to actually bring some management strategy for these regions. So that is one. Second thing is that we all know that although sea is actually flat, the sea bottom is not flat. So the geomorphological feature of the sea is very crucial in deciding the productivity, which ultimately in turn affects the fisheries also. Many of us know it's actually after all a sea. Everywhere water is there, but what fishes you get from these different regions are completely different. It is basically because of the habitat which is actually provided by these geomorphological features. So if the geomorphological features are different, even the fishes which is actually growing over there also will be different. So essentially, we also need to actually take into account under this ecosystem approach, even the geomorphological features. So many of us know the fishes are available all over the coast and as well as deep sea, but from our survey, we understand not even actually 4.6% of the total EEZ is actually trawlable. Essentially, what it means actually we are having only 4.56% of total 2.02 million square kilometer area for our fishing operation at deep sea. So basically, these are the actually factor which is affecting the fishery, especially capture fishery, because I'm always talking about capture fishery, which is what actually the interest of our today's talk. The second one is actually the chemical parameters. As I have actually told you in the beginning, actually before the physical processes, there are also actually the chemical induced changes in the primary productivity. So if you look at the picture, on the left side, there is actually a strong gradient of salinity on the Arabian Sea, whereas in the Bay of Bengal, due to actually large ingress of freshwater from the major rivers, there is actually a freshwater, layer on the surface of the Bay of Bengal. So when you compare these two sea, one is actually having an high density water because of the high salinity, and another side, the Bay of Bengal, you have actually low saline water which is occupying the surface and gives you a very strong gradient across the Bay of Bengal. So these particular parameters is affecting the fishery, because many of us will know that Arabian Sea supports a different kind of fishery, and Bay of Bengal actually supports different type of fishery. But why does it due to? It is all because the productivity patterns are different, and the productivity in turn is affected by the salinity gradient, which is actually influenced because of the rain pattern as well as actually the freshwater discharge into the sea. So this is actually one condition which we need to actually take into account while thinking for ecosystem approach for modeling or anything. The second one is on actually the chemical impact, is actually the oxygen level. Globally, the problem is now is being talked is oxygen. The deoxygenation from the sea has been actually reported as a major problem. I think our Honorable Vice Chancellor also has talked about it. It is all actually being linked with climate change. But really speaking, the climate change impact, if you actually segregate alone, in fact, these are not the climate induced impact. It is actually due to anthropogenic impact only, but exacerbated by the climate impacts, because this anthropogenic impacts is always actually multiplier role. It will actually play a multiplier role. So when the climate change impact is actually joining with the anthropogenic impact, the net result will be very, very, very disaster. So one of the major problem we are actually encountering in our seas is OM, is that oxygen minimum zone. Especially the oxygen in the water is getting reduced because of the heating of the surface water, and also actually because of the high level of organic matter getting into the sea. Especially on the Arabian Sea, the organic matter is actually more, and it is because of that reason there is a problem of OM, is that there is actually a dead zone forming in Arabian Sea, and which is actually, in fact, lethal to any fishery. Many of the fishes, which is actually normally present in deep sea, is pushed towards the shore. But because of this phenomena, sometimes you may get major catches on the shore, because the catchability of the fishes is more, because all the fishes which is there in the offshore is being pushed because of this expansion of oxygen minimum zone. One side we think that this year there is actually a huge catch. Is it because this year has been a productive year? Maybe it is not true, because the oxygen, less oxygen water is actually coming to the shore, towards the shore. Along with it, actually, even fishes also is actually coming to the shore. So therefore, the fishes which is actually available over there, even if it is small, will become actually vulnerable for the catches. So that is why sometimes actually there used to be a bumper catch, but it is not linked with high productivity in the environment. So therefore, one should be very cautious about, has to interpret the high catches or low catches, comparing with the environment, especially the phenomenon like OM is said. So this is another classical example of how this biogeochemical changes in the water is affecting the fishery. The, the third one, which I have told, biological response to actually the abiotic changes in the environment. So if you look at this picture, so the right hand side shows actually the contours of dissolved oxygen from the Kanyakumari to up to Gujarat. So in between at the 16-degree latitude, if you see, there is a black patch, which is actually the region where the oxygen is very less, and which is actually seen even in the benthic abundance. On the left hand side panel, if you see, look at it, the benthic productivity in this region is very, very less. So it is directly linked to the biological phenomena. Any changes that is actually getting into, in the biogeochemistry, which is also actually reflected in the biological phenomena. So this is also another classical example as how this biogeochemistry also could play a major role on determining the productivity, which is, whether it is benthic productivity or pelagic productivity, it will ultimately reflect in the fishery productivity. So if I actually go into another aspect, how this biological response to abiotic will be there, as I actually told you in the introductory remark, there are actually multiple ways the ecosystem will respond to actually abiotic changes. Sometimes actually you will get the productivity, which is mainly constituted by diatom and small actually microalgae, which is actually useful for the fishes. They can actually consume them. But sometime we will actually get into a situation where the high nutrient which is available in the environment is used by this nuisance organisms like Noctiluca, Gonialex, and Trichodesmium. They will actually bloom. And though the primary productivity for us it is very high, it is not useful. So the CMLRE, as part of this ecosystem approach, has been monitoring this harmful bloom for almost actually a century time. But in initial days, there was actually a less occurrence of this harmful algal bloom. If you look at the pictures on the right side, between actually the year 1970 to 57, there are actually very less dot. It means actually the incidence of harmful algal bloom during those days are actually very less. Whereas when you actually see 2008 to 13, the incidence of harmful algal bloom occurrence is actually quite recurring, and it is almost equivalent to that of actually temperate countries. Many of us, would have actually studied in our, general marine biology book. This harmful algal blooms are actually something which is so prevalent only in temperate countries, but not in, not in, what you call, not a big problem in the tropical countries. But we are actually seeing there is actually increase in the occurrence of harmful algal bloom in our waters too nowadays. That is all because the response of the ecosystem to actually small changes in abiotic parameters is not always actually on the positive side. It could also actually lead into a negative side. So these things has to be actually studied if you really interested to know what is the actually the way that we can sustain our fisheries, because these are the parameters which actually determine our sustainability of the fisheries in our water. Then this is something to show you these are the kind of organisms which you might have actually studied in your textbook. But thing is that about 52 species of microalgae are actually harmful has been actually reported from Indian water. So which is an indication that our water is not actually immune to any kind of disaster which is going to actually come up. They are actually there, which is actually going to actually come up in future. So unless one is actually very cautious about those things, that how this organism would actually bloom and how does it actually affect our fishery, if somebody does not actually think in this line, perhaps actually we will be into a situation where our fishery, all fishery will be collapsed, so like in temperate countries. Then the third one is this is a classical example of anthropogenic impact on the productivity. So this is actually to show you the impact of our trawl ban. Many of us are aware that India has been introducing the trawl ban for say conserving especially the breeding season. On the east coast, it is somewhere in the month of actually April, May, or somewhere. But in the case of west coast, it is starting in the month of actually June, and it is going to be for 60 days. What essentially it means, it's a actually kind of management measures we thought we will introduce to conserve especially the breeding season, actually protect the breeding season. But how does it actually impact? So the results are quite alarming. See, the when you compare the pre-ban with the post-ban, there is actually tremendous changes in our productivity. It is not all the same. It is going to be a tremendous changes in the benthic productivity. On the right hand side, if you see, there are two pictures. The top one actually gives you the numerical abundance of benthic organisms. The bottom one actually gives you kind of biomass. See, there is a classical difference in this. There is actually a huge difference in the numerical abundance. In fact, actually, in the numerical abundance, if you say the post-ban time, the number of organism is more. But if you actually take in biomass during the post-ban period, there is actually a reduction. So therefore, we should actually consider these factors also, how this anthropogenic, especially the fishing pressure, is affecting our productivity. That is ultimately lead into actually change in our fishery productivity also. So the okay, these slides show you how these benthic organisms has changed. See, productivity is one side. Another side is actually the composition of organisms. As I said, if you have a different set of organisms, you will get a different type of actually a fishery. So, in the case of our study, we find the polychaetes are actually dominating over the crustaceans. What it actually implies, the crustacean, all of us know as a biologist, the crustaceans are actually very good indicator of the healthy ecosystem. Whereas polychaetes, as all of you know, their role of polychaete is to actually remineralize. The presence of polychaete in the environment, or actually the abundance of polychaete in the environment, indicates the ecosystem is in actually kind of stressful conditions. So they are actually kind of actually indicate you that there is an rich in organic carbon, and which is actually ultimately leading to actually deoxygenation, and also in some places there will be an abundance of polychaetes. So there is a change. Ultimately, we wanted to actually say that there is a change in actually even the type of biodiversity which we are actually encountering in our water. Then many of us know about this particular problem. The jellyfishes has been once told as a menace for the fisheries because yeah, they are competing with many of the food, which is actually also a food for the fishes. So when jellyfishes is swarming, it is automatically, it is affecting the fishery. So we have been monitoring the jellyfishes. It has been actually the incidence of jellyfish swarming is actually increasing years to years. This also has to be actually considered. Then what about the biodiversity? Are there any change? Are there actually a kind of indication we are getting it from the biodiversity? Because unless we know that how our biodiversity is changing, it would be actually difficult for us to understand how this ecosystem will survive for a long time. So we have actually seen there is a small change in our very little scope for expanding. There is a very little scope for expanding this capture fishery. So we need to actually understand that how we can expand the fishery resources. So when we have done extensive survey on board our vessel FRV Sagar Sampada, besides the resources found in the shallow water, which is actually from 50 to 200 meter, it is generally, we all know there is a fishes in the shelf water. But whereas when it goes to actually deep sea, we many people resources found in the deep sea are unknown. So there is actually a small amount of resources available in the deep sea. But only question is that the what is the sustainability of these resources? We need to actually study before going for exploiting the resources from the deep sea. Now, this is to actually give you a kind of actually statistics about actually the kind of fishery resources our coasts are having. So, starting from northwest coast, which is actually on the Gujarat and up to Bombay, you have about actually 555 kg that actually per hour we actually say that is kg CPU. So the maximum resource has been actually seen only in southwest coast, which is actually a Kerala coast, then followed by Andaman southeast coast and as well as Andaman. So there, this is actually a kind of actually statistics on the available fishery resources from the deep sea region. So ultimately we need to actually come into actually what our management measures and as well as policy is advising us. So our policy is advocating to popularize deep sea fishing. So while the fishery policy is encouraging people to go for deep sea fishing, we do not know how they are actually going to be sustainable. So what are the, first of all, we need to understand what are the different kind of resources that can be actually targeted from the deep sea. First is myctophyte. These are something which I wanted to actually introduce because these are all unconventional fishery resources, or otherwise they are actually not exploited, or otherwise to its actually potential. They are underexploited. So for starting with the myctophyte, I thought I will give you an idea that what kind of fishery resources are available and what can be actually done to exploit them. So starting with the myctophyte fishery, we know that there is an huge potential of myctophyte resources. Myctophyte, I think some of you know it's actually mesopelagic fishes found in the actually water column, and an estimate of actually Globex says it is 100 million tons of myctophyte, mainly by constituted by benthosima, is available in the Arabian Sea. But whether this entire 100 million ton could be exploited, we should actually study, because using this ecosystem approach, when you actually study, we will come to an idea that out of this 100 million ton, what is MSY, maximum sustainable yield from it. So the people have estimated about actually 5 lakh tons of mycophyte within in India, Indian Arabian Sea alone is possible to be exploited. So this is one kind of resources which we can aim for, and this is also actually gives you an idea about the entire Indian coast. I was actually talking in the previous slide about Arabian Sea, but this slide shows you kind of actually abundance in the entire Indian EEZ, including Andaman. But Andaman has been less surveyed. But in general, by looking at this picture, you would get an idea that mycophyte, which is actually a mesopelagic fishes, is available uniformly throughout our Indian water. So therefore, it is not actually restricted to any particular area. It is available all over the seas. So therefore, it has got actually a huge potential for exploitation. So when we actually studied what kind of actually fishes are actually constituted by mycophyte. There are about actually 59 species of mycophyte has been actually seen, of which actually, although somebody said actually benthosima is dominant, but in our study we see actually diaphas is one of the actually biggest resources. And in the case of actually northeastern Arabian Sea, we have seen about 190 kg per hour CPU, and in the case of southeastern Arabian Sea, we have seen slightly more 284, and the Eastern Indian Ocean it is 82. So there is actually a fluctuation, but overall, if you see, their distributions are actually uniform throughout actually the Indian Sea. So therefore, it become one of the actually resource which can be tapped. So, if you actually look at it, kind of fishery of mycophyte happening elsewhere in the globe. See, Iranian and Oman water is actually a major fishing ground for mycophyte, and they are, getting about actually 24 tons per day. And, they are mainly constituted by the benthosima species, and to some extent, even in South Africa and Russia also, the mycophytes has been actually forming the major fishery resources, but the species which they are actually catching are different. So, but generally the mycophyte are something which is having a potential for exploitation. That is what I thought I will actually show. This is actually show you kind of actually the composition of mycophytes, which is dominated by the diaphas. So the people, since it is not commonly edible fish, we have also actually through a project given to CAFT evaluated the food product developed based on the mycophyte, and it has been actually well accepted, etc. You can actually see the various kinds of products that has been developed from the mycophyte. So the next one, the krill, the most important resource available in the world ocean is krill, because it is available at a tune of about 110 million metric ton. It would actually even outnumber the total number of total amount of fish which is being caught by from the world ocean by all the countries put together. So that is the kind of resources is available in the southern ocean, but they are actually been regulated by the international organization called Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources. It is called generally KMLR, and India is also actually party to it. And by virtue of being party to CCMLR, India also has the privilege of getting some catches from Southern Ocean, which I will talk in the next slide. So these are the countries which is actually party to this CCMLR convention. India is also a party, but India remains as a non-fishing nation because there is no awareness. In fact, actually, the Indian industries are more satisfied with where they are getting in the waters near next to the country instead of focusing on the distant water fishery like krill. Whereas other countries, including China, Russia, Norway, and countries like France, they are exploiting the resources from the Southern Ocean. India is now coming up with the plan to exploit these resources as well in the coming years. So this slide gives you a kind of actually an idea that how much of fishery resources is available from the different parts of Antarctica, especially Southern Ocean, and how much is actually can be caught. So I have told you that about 3.8 million metric ton is the total allowable catch as far as India is concerned. But from Southern Ocean, every year 8.6 million metric ton is of krill is available for the catch. But right now the catch by all the country put together, it is not even crossing actually 20% of this 8 million metric ton. So there is an enormous potential for extending our fishing operation into the Antarctica as well. So this is actually kind of gives you an idea that how this krill catch is actually happening in years, for the past actually and 20-25 years. So another thing is that we are all actually knowing fishing means it is only through net, but the new trend is coming, which is called actually pumping method, which is only been developed and used by the Norwegian company. So they are actually kind of using a pumping method. So the net will be actually dragged, and the catch which is actually getting accumulated in the cord end of the net is continuously pumped into the mothership. There is two advantage in this method, because one is that there is actually a kind of saving your time, because for every time when you actually cast your net for heaving, you will take actually some time, and as well as for casting also you will actually take time, whereas this is a continuous process. Once the net is released, and whatever is being caught is continuously pumped, so therefore the time that is you are getting it for fishing is more in a day. So this is also has another advantage, because you will be able to actually screen the bycatches. So by at least carefully selecting the meshes, you would be collecting only what size of fish which is actually catchable can be at least caught, and others can be actually let in. So therefore this fishing method has got a certification from Marine Steward Council. So this is a new technology in the fishing, which can be also used for myctofid, which the presently the country is working on developing a method of continuous pumping for marine myctofid as well. So this is actually the first expedition of Sagar Sampada, which has actually gone into Southern Ocean and got almost actually 12.5 tons of krill, with actually almost three catches, three casting. We got about 12.5 tons of krill. So this is the kind of resources are available. We need to actually expand our fishery on this unconventional for India, but it is not unconventional to other countries, because it is something which is happening right now. But for India, because we have not actually gone into this so far, therefore it becomes an unconventional for us. So these are the kind of product that is possible from krill resources. I will not actually go into detail, but I just wanted to actually show you there is a huge potential for developing this fishery resources. The next one is about oceanic squid. We know that the resources of oceanic squid is available plenty, but there is again there is a question that how much could be exploited. See, the estimate by CMFRI says about actually 8.8 to 11 million tons is available, but that has to be actually verified. But the resources are actually plenty. which we need to actually take into account. They have also identified a region where there is an aggregation of these resources somewhere off Lakshadweep, and but there is no clear cut boundary of the resource abundance, but we need to actually work on it. Then many of you know tuna fishery. Tuna is actually one of the commercially important fishery, but as such, the technological development currently India holds is not adequate enough to harvest these resources to its full potential. So the people have to actually come up with new ideas and as well as new technological actually tools for identifying the resources and go for exploitation. The especially the ministry's program on PFZ, that potential fishery zone forecasting given by INCO is giving an idea that where these fishes could congregate for breeding as well as spawning purposes, but that needs to be actually standardized. There is a lot of work need to be done before going for complete actually exploitation of these resources. There are also other conventional, unconventional resources, especially on the crustacean. One is actually about Plissionica. It's actually a small shrimp which is available plenty on the east coast as well as on the west coast. But in the west coast, it is available plenty during the post-monsoon season. It is in fact in between September to October, the resources is actually available plenty. Then next one is Charybdis smithi. Many of us know is a small pelagic crab which is actually available. But thing is that how this actually the resources are spread across our Indian water is not mapped. So we have actually mapped the resources to some extent, but thing is that covering the entire Indian seas, we have not actually done any survey. But about actually Kerala and to some extent up to Tuticorin, we have done the survey and found out these particular resources are available plenty, and it could be exploited, as one of the actually best fishery. The next one is some of the actually deep sea prawn, which is not actually exploited as of now is Aristopsius and Metapinaeus. These resources also actually are available plenty in our waters, which needs to be actually exploited. Then finally, my slide, I just wanted to actually sum up my talk that any fishery developmental model should not be actually considered as a stock based type. It should be actually based on ecosystem actually approach, and we should actually support this ecosystem approach with very good observations, and especially on the fishery independent and dependent parameters has to be actually studied. And we also have to actually prepare a developmental model, develop models to assess the current state and predict and project the future. See, unless you develop a model of the ecosystem and understand the fishery as one of its component, it would be difficult for us to actually find out what would be the sustainability of that fishery component alone. So relevant model has to be actually developed. That is also one of the priority area. Then the third one is if any abiotic changes are actually there, we should actually see with all our eyes that how those abiotic changes are actually going to affect, and we also have to come up with a framework for changing our management action, because any management action should not be kind of actually a fixed type. It should be actually like a adaptive management of thing. It should not be a fixed management. It should be very adaptive. So we have to have a framework which will actually allow us to actually do this adaptive management. So unless otherwise all these three is addressed, perhaps actually it would be difficult for us to sustain the present level of fishery in future also. With this, I'll thank the organizer for giving an opportunity. I would have taken little more time because I'm sorry that I was preparing my presentation in a very short notice. So therefore, I could not actually restrict my presentation within the time schedule. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saravanani. Uh, I have few questions. Uh, why the oil sardine expansion is up to Maharashtra? Is there any reason for any? What is the reason due to any climate change or food habits?
Yeah, I think I have few more slide also because for want of time, I
No,
did not
yeah.
actually show all these things. But thing is that there has been actually a change in the food web dynamics
Oh,
in our waters. So the oil sardine, they are mainly actually feed on phytoplankton. They mainly feed on actually especially diatom. The diatom is actually in fact an indicator for this oil sardine. But right now, what is happening is that the upwelling, which is actually the primary factor determining this diatom bloom, is actually extending towards even north. The sense earlier during 1985 or 86, during that 18th, somewhere during that 1800s, we have seen upwelling is restricted only to the Kerala coast. Actually, it is not actually even crossing Calicut, etc. But whereas upwelling is now seen extending even up to Mumbai. And we also have seen upwelling phenomena happening in Bay of Bengal. So what it means, essentially, it brings up a nutrient, the nutrient which is immediately responsible for blooming of diatom. When there is a diatom, then this sardines will likely catch up. See, when the food web dynamic is changing, see, when the food web is controlled by a zooplankton, probably what will happen, some of the actually carangids and other species would actually be dominant. Whereas when the food web is actually dominated by only diatom, the sardines, especially the primary consumers, like actually sardines will actually form. That is the reason we are seeing there is a change in sardine population even on the Bay of Bengal region. So that is actually interpreted as change in environmental condition due to upwelling.
Okay, thank you. And one more question. There is
Sharon, Prabhu,
one
one
more
sec.
question.
Prabhu,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
second. Sharon,
yeah,
can
yeah.
you close the screen? Presentation, can you close, Sharon?
Dr. Saravanan, can you close your PPT? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, one more question. Actually, you talk about tuna. So generally in Indian fishery, which is caught by the Indian coast, the export people, they graded as a second quality. So due to the histamine content present in the tuna actually. So what may be the reason for that?
ನೀವು ಡಯಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಸ್ತುತ ಕಾರ್ಯನಿರತವಾಗಿದೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಂತರ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಿಸಿ. आपके द्वारा डायल किया.
Saravanan, can you hear me? Actually, your audio is mute actually.
Yeah, sorry. What I was telling is actually I'm not an expert on this one, but however, I wanted to actually mention the quality of the meat depends on the quality of the feed it takes. So when there is actually change in the feed availability, then your quality of the meat also will change. So that is what my observation is about those actually changes in the quality of the meat.
Because so generally the tuna fishery and the export actually the some of the people they are doing in Thoothukudi. So generally they won't get much price because of this quality. So we have to look it for what is the reason and how we can improve all these things. And one more questions from our audience. why there is no entry for any research vessel in the Gulf of Mannar, particularly in deep sea research?
It's a good question. First of all, I would blame the government of India for having actually entertained only one vessel. We are not actually having many vessels to cover up even Gulf of Mannar region because of infrastructure problems. So otherwise, I don't see many reasons why people are not entering into the Gulf of Mannar region.
Okay.
Thank you. Prabhu, one second. Dr. Saravanan? Dr.
Yes, sir.
Saravanan? Thank you very much for your nice and excellent presentation. Really, it's wonderful, information to the audience. Thank you very much. My question is, do you have any remotely operated vehicle to monitor deep sea resources?
Yeah, under the. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. We have made a program now under Deep Sea Mission, in which we are actually acquiring ROV, remotely operated vehicle, which can go up to 6,000 meter, which is about actually 120 crore program. So once that is acquired under Deep Sea Mission, we will be actually doing surveys, especially on the deeper regions. And in addition to our own program, it is in fact my program, but NIOT, National Institute of Ocean Technology, under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, which is there at Chennai, is also developing an ROV indigenously to use that ROV extensively for surveys all along the Indian waters, especially living resources they were targeting, but they are all in the developmental stages. But in my case, I wanted to actually procure directly the ready-made ROV and employ them for deep sea exploration, which is actually going to come next year.
Okay,
so
nice.
we have actually made the project and it is approved. So Prime Minister is going to announce next week that we have got an approval from Ministry of Finance for 4,800 crore. That is for the entire country. But for this deep sea exploration.
Okay, one more question, Saravanan. I came to know that from Dr. Ravindran, National Institute of Oceanography. Previously he was he worked as a scientist there. Now he is at Cochin. Now right now he is in SICRI. He is working as scientist right now, SICRI. But he told me that the NIO, National Institute of Oceanography, have some collaboration with some foreign countries to identify the hot springs.
Hotspots.
Hotspot in the deep ocean. Hotspot.
Okay.
Then to identify the hydrothermal vents. To identify the hydrothermal vents. Is there any program like that in your CMLRA?
Actually, hydrothermal vent, as you said, there is a program under Ministry of Earth Sciences that will be actually jointly taken up with the NIO. NIO is a party. So under this hydrothermal vent program, because they have full expertise, but we are actually more focusing on deep sea mounts, mounts region, because I understand more than the hydrothermal vent, which is going to be a big problem for identification, because although it is there, the feature is very small and its identification is very difficult. Whereas the deep sea mounts are actually quite big structures. It is easy to identify them. So I have taken a program for deep sea mount, whereas hydrothermal vents are jointly taken up by NCPOR, that is National Institute of Polar Science, jointly with NIO. They are going to do it. So that will be a major program.
Okay, that's fine. Finally, one more question, Dr. Saravanan. So, what are the funding, resources available right now in CMLRA for fundamental research or any other advanced research?
As far as funding is concerned, there are various options. But CMLRE, this year we have stopped, in the sense for this plan period we have stopped because of the financial constraint. But we are encouraging, any institute which is interested in getting funds to apply for under extramural fund, which is actually directly dealt by Ministry of Earth Sciences. Actually, extramural fund is a corpus fund available for any research, research on marine side. So they are, in fact, having a major, allocation against this extramural funding. Maximum you can get 2 crore for project. For project, but we are not actually, right now supporting. Right now, because we have stopped this year giving funds, because we have started working ourselves on some of the science, but we are actually collaborating with other institute like NBFGR. We are collaborating, and we are also, in fact, actually SICRI, this Aragappa University also was considered, because sometime before there was a discussion between Kalpakam Water and Steam Chemistry Laboratory using your seafront facility at Karaikudi and all. I had a discussion with those people.
Okay.
But we need to actually materialize, because Aragappa University and Kalpakam, that Andhra Gandhi Center for Atomic Research, are actually jointly having an MOU and all to work on this fouling, and as well as this thermal effluent impact studies, etc., for which we are actually trying to support, in the sense under deep sea mission there is a component about 19 crore. So that has been given to Kalpakam Atomic Research Center, and they will be in turn collaborating with the Aragappa University. That's what I was told by Kalpakam people. So like that, we are directly collaborating with the institution who are actually having interest on our areas of research, in the sense deep sea explorations, etc. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Saravanan, for your excellent and informative and enthusiastic presentation. Thank you. Dr. Prabhu, please.
So thank you very much, Dr. Saravanan.
Yeah. Now I thank you very much, Dr. Saravanan. Now I welcome the next resource person, Dr. T.T. Ajit Kumar, Principal Scientist and Scientist in Charge, ICAR National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Cochin. Dr. Ajit Kumar has more than 20 years of experience in development of hatchery technology for marine ornamental fishes and on farm evaluation of fish genetic resources for conservation of aquaculture and livelihood. He has published more than 90 research papers and guided 13 PhD students and MPhil students. And currently, 2 students are doing PhD under his guidance. He had completed 10 major research projects worth of 10 crores from various funding agency. He is the lead investor for 3 NBFGRS ongoing projects. And with this, I call upon Dr. Ajit Kumar for his presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, friends. Prabhu, am I audible?
Yeah, you're right.
First of all, I am extending my sincere thanks to the authority.
அவருக்கு அச்சித்து ஃபோன் வந்து அதான் விஷயம். இருபத்தோரு பேர் தான் வாட்ச் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன்.
மேட்ச் பண்ணிவிட நம்ம எல்லாரும் சுவிட்ச் ஆஃப் ஆயிடுச்சு.
ப்ராப்ளம் இல்லை. அஜித் ஃபோன் அடிச்சு
ஃபோன் சுவிட்ச் ஆஃப் ஆகும்.
அதான் அந்த ஹாட்ஸ்பாட்ல கட் ஆயிருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதுதான் வரல. இல்ல இல்ல இதுலயும் வரல, கட் ஆயிடுச்சு.
யூடியூப்ல ஸ்ட்ரீம் கட் ஆயிடுச்சு. அதனால ஃபோன் பண்ணேன், திருப்பி பார்த்து சரி பண்ணிட்டாங்க. இப்போ சனோட இது மட்டும் வீடு தான் வரும்.
ஃபோன் பண்ணிடு.
சார் நீங்க பேசுறீங்க.
சார் ஏதோ கொஞ்சம் இஷ்யூ இருக்கு, டெக்னிக்கல் இஷ்யூ. அஜித் இதுதான் பிரச்சனை. நம்ம
இல்ல சார், ஸ்விட்ச் ஆஃப்னா ஃபுல்லா அப்படியே வச்சிருக்கேன். நான் ஸ்டூடண்ட் கூப்பிடுறேன்.
ஓகே ஆகாது. அதான் நீங்க ஆகாது, தெரிஞ்சதுதான். பேசுறீங்களா அவன்கிட்ட? பேச வேண்டாம் 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 பேச வேண்டாம். அவன் முடியாது.
இல்லைன்னா அவருக்கு வேலை வந்தாருன்னா ரவியை வர
அங்க யாருக்கா யாரு அவன் போன் பண்ணி சொல்றான்.
அவர் வந்து பிரபு அது தெரிய கனெக்ட் போன் வந்து போன் இல்ல ஹாட்ஸ்பாட் கட் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஹாட்ஸ்பாட் அதாவது எப்படி என்ன பிரச்சனைனா மொபைல்ல வந்து ஹாட்ஸ்பாட் அதுல யூடியூப்ல லைவ் ஸ்ட்ரீமிங்
அது யூடியூப் வந்து நம்ம வந்து ஒர்க் ஆகாது. இதுல எல்லாமே நம்ம ஓன் இல்ல, நமக்கும் வந்து சரியா வந்து யூடியூப் நல்லா வரும். நம்ம யூனிவர்சிட்டில யூடியூப் ஓபன் பண்ணிருக்கோம். நம்ம இதுல ஓபன் பண்ணி
இங்க இருந்தா சார், இங்க இருந்து யூனிவர்சிட்டியோட யூஸ் பண்ணதானே யூடியூப் வருது. அப்படி இல்ல
நமக்கு சொல்றோம் கம்யூனிகேஷன்
நமக்கு தான் தெரியும்
சார்.
எல்லாம் போயிடுவாங்க.
we have to complete the system. Monday சொல்றீங்களா? இப்ப என்னன்னா நான் ட்ரை பண்ண அன்னைக்கு எடுக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு பையன் வந்து ஆக்சிடென்ட் ஆகி காலு லேசா இருக்காங்க. இன்னொருத்தர் வந்து அவங்க அப்பா இல்லையா, 2 பேரும் இன்னைக்கு வர முடியாத சூழ்நிலை. அவங்க தான் டேட்டா ஒர்க் பண்ணணும். ஆமா, மண்டே மார்னிங் ஒரு 12 மணிக்கு அனுப்பிச்சு. சரி, ஓகே சார், ரைட், ரைட். சொல்றேன், அவங்க சொல்றாங்க, சொல்றாங்க. அவருதான் பிரச்சனை.
Yes, sir. Yes. No. Why is it also not showing clear? Yes.
இல்ல வெளியில போயிட்டு விடுவாங்க.
நம்ம இந்த 1000 ஸ்கிரிப்ட் கேட்டது யாருதான் அது நமக்கு யூடியூப் வந்து தெரிஞ்சா நம்ம வந்து ஃபாலோ பண்ண முடியும். யூடியூப் தெரியாம நம்ம யூடியூப்ல சரியா தெரியுது இதுல தராம சரி அது முடிச்சு நமக்கு தெரியல நீங்க யூடியூப்ல வந்து சேனல் அது போன் ரீச் பண்றதுனால டிஸ்கனெக்ட் பண்ணி உள்ள வரும். யூடியூப் தான் வந்து கூகுள் மீட்லயே வந்து என்ன
ஜெர்சி தான் கனெக்ட் ஆகணும். மீட் அப்போ ரீகனெக்ட் பண்றாங்க சார். ஜெர்சி வந்து அக்செப்ட் பண்ணணும்.
சரி யூடியூப்ல பண்ண முடியாது. ஜெர்சி கனெக்ட் ஆகும். டேட்டா கம்மியா இருக்கு. எனக்கு டேட்டா தீர்ந்து வச்சேன். டேட்டா எனக்கு இருந்துச்சு. அவர் பார்த்தா கடைசியில் லோஸ்ட் இருந்து டேட்டா இல்லை.
ரீசேல் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் 40 வந்துச்சு. அப்படி கேட்டா இல்ல அது நீங்களா ஏன் பர்சீவ் பண்றீங்க? எப்படி மொபைல் டேட்டால இருந்து அவங்க பண்ணலாம்னு வாய்ப்பு இருக்குல்ல?
Prabhu, am I audible?
Data வந்து செக் பண்ணி சொல்லுங்க.
What they are talking, I am listening.
நமக்கு சொல்லி போக
Their voice is audible. Prabhu, am I audible?
Dr. Ajit?
Prabhu?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah, your voice is clear.
Audible? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. What about slide?
Slide
is appearing?
No. Your slide is not appearing. Your slide is not visible. Yeah, now it's visible. Dr. Ajit, your voice is not clear.
சரி என்ன ப்ரோ ஆடியோ வரலையா?
யூடியூப்ல கரெக்டா வரணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். யூடியூப் லிங்க் போடும். யூடியூப் அதே லிங்க்.
அதில் வந்தால் கூட ப்ராப்ளம் சரி.
கேக்குதா பிரபு?
கேக்குது அஜித், நல்லா கேக்குது.
ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. Screen visible?
It is visible. Now it is.
Shall I start? Continue.
Yes, yes. I think you can start.
Prabhu, shall I continue?
Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, sorry for the inconvenience. Friends, these all are the underwater view of some marine ornamental fishes found in Lakshadweep water. I told when I was talking earlier, I told that this ornamental organisms, see the damsel fishes, it is associated with the ornamental fishes. It is associated with the coral reef region. Coral reef region. Actually, if you are trying to catch the fish, immediately it will goes to the bottom of this coral reef. So it is very difficult to catch the fish. So these destructive fishing practices like this cyanide fishing, people are used to adapt it. So I told about these exotic fishes. See these fishes, how beautiful these fishes are. But however, these fishes are not available in our water bodies in Gulf of Mannar or Andaman or Lakshadweep. So these all fishes are entering into the aquarium trade through grey market. So we have conducted, actually Government of India has given approval to import 93 fishes, including freshwater marine food fishes as well as the aquarium fishes. But the NBFG conducted one survey and we have documented more than 500 variants and species found in the aquarium trade. So most of the things entering the aquarium trade through illegal way only. In the previous slides, I told that this paku, this piranha as well as this suckermouth catfish was recorded in our natural water bodies. But however, so far there is no marine exotic fishes we have reported from our natural water bodies. So you know that ocean is very big. So even surveying the exotic fish, some few numbers, it is hardly possible for long term. So at present it is not a serious threat. So the next one is the threats to ornamental fishes through impact of climate change. So these photographs we took from Lakshadweep Island some 3-4 months back. During May and June, there was the elevation in the sea surface temperature, and we took this photograph. Due to the elevated sea surface temperature, the sea anemone, this tentacle anemone lose its shoes on the lake, and the color has gone. So the fishes associated with this anemone also disappeared. Again, friends, this is the tridacna, the giant clam. It is again an endangered animal, looking very beautiful color, violet color, but because of this climate change, due to the hot temperature, it loses its color. So it is also again a serious thing, because the koi, what is the purpose? Koi, we want to breed the ornamental fishes in aquarium in captivity, because see, I told that due to the collection, we are losing our habit. So to avoid the habitat destruction, then over exploitation. You know that seagulls, now it is in the scheduled. Once upon a time, it was plenty available in our water bodies. Through due to its medicinal value and aquarium trade value, people exploited it like anything. So now it is in the red list. So we have to avoid habitat destruction, over exploitation, and selective harvesting. Selective harvesting, actually, this is an interesting thing. The marine ornamental is concerned, all the male fishes are very beautiful. So the poor collector, he doesn't know which one is male, which one is female. So which one is more attractive, he used to collect the attractive fish, because the attractive ecosystem, whatever strategy will be getting failed. Then economically feasible when compared to marine food fish culture. So you all are aware that we have India have the successful technology for cobia, sea bass, and this pampano. But the time taking to reach the marketable time is not less than 1 year. But in the case of ornamental organism, particularly this clown, damsel, and marine invertebrates like ornamental shrimps, within 3 months you can sell your fish. That is the advantage. Then hatchery bred individuals are more hardier and survive longer. I told some destructive fishing practices they are adapting, so automatically the whatever collecting fishes get some injured. So the hatchery bred fishes are injury free. So automatically you will So if you are seeing the marine aquarium trade, the clown, damsel, angel, butterfly, rose, lion, surgeon, parrot, trigger, and cardinal. So these 10 groups are playing major role, and these all are the top 10 fishes in the marine aquarium trade. But here there is a important and valid question will be raised. Is it possible to breed all the fishes in captivity? Friends, it is very difficult because the reproductive strategies are changing the group, changing the fish to fish. Some group, it is falls under the egg deposited. The best example is clown and damsel fishes. India, we have a well-established technology for this group, clown and damsel fishes. Damsel, of course, we got experimental success only, but scaling up program is going on, so we can succeed at this egg scattering group. Here, the parental care is very less. In the best example is angel and butterfly, so it is very difficult to breed them in captivity. So we are yet to be succeeded with this angel and butterfly. Recently in Taiwan, they have succeeded with one species of angel fish. Maybe that technology can be adopted in India very soon also. Then mouth brooder, the very interesting group. Actually, the female fish used to lay the egg, and the male used to guard the egg in his mouth. So cardinal fish also, we have very good technology. Then best example is live bearer, seahorse. So again, it is an interesting one. Female used to lay its egg on the pouch of the male. So the male only giving live young ones. So it is again, India, we have well established technology for live bearers. However, since it is in the scheduled animal, government is not allowing to keep this organism in captivity. However, the research institute, those who are doing research on the seahorses, they are breeding it, and they are again reintroducing the same into the natural water bodies. That is sea ranging program. So this egg depositor, egg scatter, mouth brooder, and live bearers. Except this egg scattering, we have a very good technology for all the three groups. Then the interesting group of marine ornamental fishes is clownfish. We have more than 30 species throughout the world, and India is blessed with 16 species. So this among these 30, some one falls under a separate genus called Praemunus biculetus, and the rest 29 belongs to Ambiprion genus. So this is a best example for mutual relationship. Actually, this clown and sea anemone have a very good example for mutual relationship. This clownfish is getting protection from through sea anemone. Actually, it is protection from its predator. This sea anemone, it is getting its feed because it knows it is a sedentary animal. It will not move here and there, so it is getting its feed through the clownfish. Then another one important character is the protandrous chromapodism. It can the ability to change its sex, male to female. So that is the advantage for the breeders. There is no need to bring a potential male or female. Automatically, if you can accommodate any two in one particular tank within 3 to 4 months, it becomes a pair. So that is the advantage of this clownfish. These all are the different batches of young clown, Ambiprion ocellaris, Percula. This is Ambiprion sibe, and this is the Praemunus biculetus. So, in my knowledge, in India we have 5th generation of this clownfish, ocellaris, sibe, Percula, and this is Praemunus biculetus. See, this is the egg deposition made by the fish. So, here the breeding process, everything will be happened before our eyes. So the breeding is easy possible when compared to the egg scattering group. So friends, in my previous slides, I shown the different variants of this goldfish, So in the case of marine, now only this concept is introduced in clownfish only. So now this designer clown, genetically modified and selective bred clownfishes are available in the market. So here one interesting thing I want to share. This is the experiment done by one Balamurugan et al. At Annamalai University. See, this is the male Ambiprion ocellaris. This is Ambiprion percula. Ocellaris female and percula is male. He tried to make it as a pair, but he failed for more than 2.5 years. Whenever he introduced, immediately this male fellow will kill the female or it will make some injury. So after 2.5 years rearing, he got a successful pair, and it has given egg, and the young ones got bred, and the trait analysis shown that the F1 is more colorful than the parents, Percula and ocellaris, as well as it has some disease resistant capacity too. Yeah, this is another one interesting group of fishes called the damsel group. So this is the humpback damsel, Dacillus arvanus, and this is the damsel called the Pomosendrus pavo, Chromis viridis. This is Chromis viridis as well as Pomosendrus pavo. So this Chromis viridis, recently we stocked in our NBFGR facility at Lakshadweep. This fish have a very good demand in aquarium trade. Again, this is, I told about the mouth brooder, cardinal fish. Cardinal fish, again, this fish, the female used to lay the egg, and the male fellow will keep the egg on its body and the mouth, and after 7 to 8 days incubation only, the young ones will come out. So these all are the young ones. Actually, this experiment, one of the guy done it in Annamalai University. So once he came to know this belongs to exotic, not found in Indian waters, he wind up the things, but it is available in our aquarium trade as well as very good demand in the hobbyist. This is one Dotipac pseudochromis. It have very good aquarium demand. However, very difficult to get pair in captivity. So one experiment has been done with the hormone, and they have succeeded with the captive propagation of this Chromis viridis also. So actually, I told that there is a very good demand for marine ornamental fish, so there is a continuous harvesting, continuous exploitation is going on throughout the coral reef region. So the government of Maharashtra, they have a mangrove cell and mangrove foundation under the Department of Forest. They have given a fund to our institute, NBFGR. So we have established a master facility at Airoli, Maharashtra. So this is the project on establishment of marine ornamental village. So this is the first of its kind approach in India. So we established a master facility, and there we have stocked 10 different species of clownfish, all are indigenous. So among the 10, we are concentrating with because they have very good market demand. See, this is the master facility we established in Airoli with the support of this Mangrove Foundation. So there we are breeding these fishes, and 1 month reared babies we are supplying to the beneficiaries. So our target beneficiaries belongs to 5 districts of coastal Maharashtra: Thane, Palghar, Raigad, Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg. At present, we are given hands-on training to 3 district beneficiaries. So first batch of trainees from Thane district, they established a beneficiary unit in Devi Kavani village. So we given them some 1.5 months reared babies, and they are rearing for the same for another 2.5 months. Almost it is ready to sell. Shortly we will launch. Because of this lockdown and corona things, the aquarium market is totally shut down, so the demand is very less. However, they found some buyers, so shortly we will sell. So through this we will expand the unit in throughout the coastal district of Maharashtra. So this is the first of its kind program. Actually, our system is behind the publication and pattern like that. But however, our intention is we have to conserve our biodiversity as well as giving livelihood to few coastal or island beneficiaries. That's why we are giving this. So I am happy at least a few families, they are getting benefits through NBFGR's program. So friends, we are facing some issues with disease also. So initially we used some antibiotics. However, we have stopped using antibiotics, and with the help of this mangrove herbals, we experimented with this Exocaria agalacca, Avicennia marina, Rhizopara, Micronata as well as Apiculata. This is Exocaria agalacca has given promising result, and we are mixing the latex of this Exocaria with the feed of clownfish. So the disease in the infection problem is getting arrested. So that is the advantage of this thing. So this is the filtration system. Actually, this is the canister filter. Cost of this filter is around 25,000. So our project team, we have developed a biological filter. You know that all the excretory product of fish is ammonia. So the ammonia load will increase, means automatically the fish will get some infection, and alternatively it will get mortality. So here this biological filtration is functioning very nicely. Within 500 rupees we have developed this system. Some ceramic ring, activated carbon, and some coral sand also we have introduced. So this ammonia will be converted into nitrate and nitrate with the help of this Nitrosomonas bacteria. So we have trained our beneficiaries also to establish this thing. So instead of using this costly filter, our beneficiaries, they are using this biological filtration unit. So, so this is so packing and transportation is very important, because whatever we have produced, we have to market it. So there is using the claw extract. Using the claw extract technology is available for transportation also. We transportation because we have a program in Lakshadweep also. So shifting the things from Lakshadweep to mainland, you know, it needs more than 24 hours by ship, and also transportation is also very necessary. So we are utilizing the existing technology, but however we are also trying to develop new technology for transportation. So friends, what I have shown so far is the what we have done at mainland. So now I am talking little about the Lakshadweep Island and what NBFGR is doing in Lakshadweep. Since the Lakshadweep Island, there are 36 islands scattered in Arabian Sea. 10 islands are inhabited. The people, they are totally depending on this tuna as well as the coconut for their livelihood. So with the support of actually this is the program of CMLRE. They have established a hatchery there, and they given training to the local beneficiaries for breeding the clownfishes, and some few units still they are running, and but due to this lockdown, this marketing and all these issues are there. So right now breeding is going on, but this marketing channels are closed. So this ornamental invertebrates, I told that sea anemone, this different ornamental shrimp have very good demand in the aquarium trade. So this we took ICR, NBFGR have took a program on Gem Blossom Resource Center, conservation as well as livelihood. This is the program supported by Department of Biotechnology. So during the March only, we have, NBFGR has declared open our own facility at Agati Island. So thanks to CMLRE, they have provided the land for establishing our facility, and all, of course, they are also the partner for this program. Friends, here what we are doing is we are providing 2 months hands-on training to the Lakshadweep Island. So we conducted one awareness program during March. So the technology available with us that we have disseminated through that awareness program. So now district administration has identified 20 self-help members, and they are undergoing training in our facility at Agati Island of Lakshadweep. Actually, this thing we are doing through our institute program on tribal supplant program. Actually, these islanders are very poor, so they used to collect this small chunk, cowrie collection. So they used to get some 500,000 rupees per month. So to encourage their participation, our institute is providing some 2,500 rupees as a stipend per month to these trainees. So once after completing this trainees through our institute as well as with the support of other government agencies, we are planning to establish small rearing units on their backyard. So 1 month reared shrimps we will supply. So they will rear for 2 months, and we can market the same for ornamental aquarium trade. So these all are the ornamental shrimps we have recorded from, we have collected and recorded, and we are maintaining in live condition at our Gem Blossom Center at Lakshadweep. So few are new to science, few are new to India, new to Lakshadweep, few are new to India. So on the trade value, according to the trade value, we identified the species and we are producing. So the first one, this Thor heniacans, it have a very good demand. Actually, so second one is this Brevicarpalis. Again, this also have a very good demand. Of course, it is reported earlier. However, the captive propagation technology we only developed. NBFGR only developed in, so new to the aquaculture field. So the young ones are ready for supplying to the beneficiaries as well as introducing to the market. Friends, this is another one shrimp called the Nathophyllum americanum. So we got the experimental success, and scaling up this. So during this period, we have reported 2 new species. When Vashigaran sir telling his remark, he told about this thing. So this Persimella agati and Eudocardella arabiensis is new to science, and this Thor heniacans and Lismata hochi, these are new to Indian water. Moreover, we have identified one isopod parasite attached with the one of the ornamental shrimp, Stenophus cuspidus. So I'm happy to share that current science, they have flashed our findings on the wrapper page of their issue. So friends, for breeding the ornamental fish organisms, live feed is most important. So both the facility in Lakshadweep as well as Maharashtra, we have a small unit of live feed stock culture facility. We are maintaining chlorella, this Isochrysis duniella, as well as this rotifer rodendiformis and Pelicatelis we are maintaining. So meantime, we have developed some artificial feed also, because the hobbyist, it is very difficult to providing live feed all the time. So we are developed some feed, and we are doing some experiment with this artificial feed. So once all this thing will be worked out, we can launch a package for keeping breeding, rearing, and aquarium keeping with a tank setup as well as feed. We can introduce a new concept for this thing. Friends, for the promotion of ornamental aquaculture, so we need hands-on training, we need backyard and homestead units. We have the National Fisheries Development Board, Marine Product Export Development Authority, and NABARD. All these agencies, they are providing a lot of subsidy and loans to promote the near future this ornamental aqua park on Lakshadweep, maybe through this blue revolution of the infrastructure. The technology is readily available, less production cost. Since most of the beneficiaries are women only, because it is very woman friendly, because the animals are too small, handling also very easily. So it is woman friendly. But however, we have some constraints also, because when compared to food fish sector, it is a so slow development. So we are giving very little attention about the broodstock nutrition and all. So I think definitely in the coming years we will work out all these things. So limited research attention only. Current research strategy is very weak. So we have come forward to rectify all these things, and we have to do something in the near future. Then this Ministry of Environment, they have a lot of rules and regulation. This National Biodiversity Authority, there, but nothing is clear. But lot of rules. Recently, some 1 year back, Ministry of Environment has announced that no one is allowed to keep on marine ornamental organisms in aquarium. But however, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries is promoting the aquarium trade and ornamental aquaculture. So these all small issues we have rectified. Now we have a separate ministry for fisheries. Definitely they will take care, because the Blue Revolution scheme has been launched. So what is needed? My very much request to everywhere, wherever I am going, I used to intend the submit to the forum is, we need a national quarantine facility for ornamental organisms. So you aware that this RGC, Rajiv Gandhi Center for Aquaculture, have a facility in Chennai for this Venami quarantine facility. So whoever the entrepreneur, whoever the hatchery owner, they are bringing their Venami from outside the country. They used to stock in the RGCA facility, and after proper quarantine only they are taking. But in the case of ornamental facility, there is ornamental organisms, there is no proper quarantine facility. Whoever the breeder, they are bringing straight away, they are taking to their facility and selling the things. So this have to be stopped. But when compared to earlier days, now there is not lot of restrictions are there. So now hope it will be cleared in the coming days also. So these all are the organizations who have responsibility to regulate the trade as well as promote the aquarium trade for the sustainable utilization and the livelihood development of the people. So friends, thank you very much. We are running short of time. We reached 2 o'clock. So in between some issues happened. Otherwise, we would have complete within 1:30. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dr. Ajit Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for your excellent and informative and enthusiastic presentation. Really appreciate your efforts and cooperation in organizing this workshop. One thing, I got 2 questions to you. Right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Dr. Ajit Kumar? I'm audible? Dr. Ajit? Dr. Ajit? Can you hear me? Dr. Ajit? Dr. Ajit? Can you hear me?
Okay.
Is it audible?
I think he's having a network problem. I would like to conclude this section. First of all, we are very sorry for the inconvenience happened in between the webinar. I thank all the participant faculty members, professors, staffs, beloved students, friends, and all other officers for this kind patience and your presence. It's a great honor and a privilege to deliver the conclude section. I and on behalf of representative of Department of Fisheries Science and Animal Health and Management, and my behalf, I extend our thank to our Honorable Vice Chancellor for his encouragement and motivation for conducting this webinar. I heartful thank to Dr. Kuldeep K. Lal, Director, ICAR, National Bureau of Fish Genetic Resources, Lucknow. Sir, your valuable research contribution will give new ideas to us. I want to thank on behalf of organizing committee for your presence on this section. And I would like to thank all our honored guest lecturers, Dr. N. Saravanani and Dr. P.T. Ajit Kumar, for your knowledge sharing and your participation. I am sure your lecture will open new innovative ideas in the field of fishery sector, and this will be motivate our young researchers to further focus on these particular aspects. So last but least, I thank organizing committee members for your kind support. Thank you very much. And also I thank all the participants, including the faculty members of the Animal Health and Management Department and Fishery Department, and the staffs and student friends. Thank you very much. Thank you. So we will close.